welcome to the Turks and Caicos Chess and Skittles Club, right here in Fort Perry, Ontario, Canada, Northern Hemisphere. First of all, the most important thing we must remember in playing this game is keeping score. Because if you don't keep score, you can't collect bets. And this game is all about bets, which is why we are using these specially featured chalk pieces to keep score from our parent company, Paola. Now, Paola provides this particular kind of chalk to keep score on our designated TCI scoreboard. First, we start with the initials of the people who are going to play this game. We will start with Charlie and me. I'm LouisRoyale. Glad to meet you. We put our names on the board, and then we start to keep score using the scoreboard and the chalkboard. Now, this is the very important feature. Never mind the numbers, that's all for kids. This is where the money comes in. Every time Charlie fouls, which we'll cover in a later chapter, we have to put an X beside his name. And if I commit a foul, which is not very often, we will put an X beside my name, just for illustration purposes. At the end of the game, Charlie will have a lot of X's because he's a very bad player. I will only have one X because I couldn't get help when I needed it because Charlie wouldn't help me. At the end of our game, we will see how many X's Charlie has because I won the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 X's. 5 times $10 is $50 in TCI money. Charlie now owes me $50, and we go merrily along to our second game. When the game starts, we are going to always shoot the cue ball to one of the two object balls. You must always hit an object ball. If you miss even one object ball, that's a foul. If your cue ball hits 2 object balls, that's called a carom. A carom is worth 2 points. So one of the objects of the game is to get caroms, and while you are getting caroms, to put your 2 object balls in positions to either go into particular pockets or hit the pins. The pins for the game of Skittles have a number of variations. For today, we're going to use the very basic variation of 1 black pin and 4 colored pins. The black pin always goes in the middle of the house, or the court, has many names, at the center point of the table. Center horizontally, center vertically. The red pin, which has a value of 1, goes on the baulk side of the black ball. Opposite is the green pin, which has a value of 3. It goes on the opposite side of the black pin. The yellow pin has a value of 2. It goes on the horizontal line. And finally, the brown pin has a value of 4. And this completes the house, or the court, as we sometimes call it. These are very important pins, because when we're playing the game properly, you must finish on the pin with the right value to hit 31 exactly. If I have 29, which pin do I have to hit to finish my game? No, it's not the brown pin you weren't listening. It's the yellow pin, which has a value of 2, because 2 plus 29 is 31. If I have a score of 25, which pin do I need to finish on? That's a trick question. You can't finish with 5 unless you do a combination. To get 5 as a finish, I have to hit the 1 and the 4, or the 2 and the 2 and the 3. But I must not knock down any other pins. If I knock down other pins, that also is a foul. And what happens when Charlie gets a foul? Correct, he gets an X. We like that part of the game. There's one other way to make 5 points to finish on 31, and that's by knocking down 2 pins. If I have 26 and I need 5 more points, I can knock down the red and brown, and that gives me 5 points. Now I have 31. Or I can knock down the green, and yellow, and that also gives me 5 points for a total of 31. Remember, if I knock down any other pins, I have fouled, I go back to 0. When we play Skittles, you are always hitting the cue ball onto an object ball, the red or the yellow. When we are trying to finish the game, we are usually hitting an object ball towards a pin. If we need 5 points, we can hit the object ball and knock down the black. Or we can do a combination shot. The object ball can knock down the red and the brown, or the yellow and the green. In our game of Skittles, the most common way to score points is to make a carom, or we call it a carambola here. We like that. A carom is worth 2 points, and it is achieved by using the cue ball to hit 2 object balls, one after the other. Here is an example. Hope I make it. That is worth 2 points. When you are making a carom, you should also try and make sure your next shot can go into a pocket or into a pin. That's called shape. You want to execute good shape so that your 2-point carom leads to more points as you put the balls into pockets or into the pins. To start the game, you must determine who goes first. You can do that by taking a lag shot and see who gets back closest to the back rail. You can flip a coin, you can draw a card, or you can pay the other guy if you want to shoot first. You place the cue ball anywhere in the D, including the line itself. You can do it on this side, or you can do it on that side. The object of the tee shot, or the first shot, is to hit the red ball, and it can only be the red ball, and put it somewhere either into a pocket or where your opponent cannot get an easy shot. I'm going to execute the first shot. I'm going to do this in a defensive way so that my opponent doesn't have a good shot after me. That's a pretty good shot. My opponent only has 1 ball to aim at. It's a long way away. He could make it in either pocket with an excellent shot. He cannot shoot the red ball because it is behind the house. It's what we call a hook. Setup variation number 2. There's another game we play which uses 2 black pins. The second black pin goes on the pink spot. In this game, knocking down a black pin is bad. If you knock down a black pin, it's an immediate foul. You lose all your points and you get an X. The one exception is if you knock down both black pins and no other pins. If that happens, that's an immediate win. Don't count any score, just go collect your bet. Now we're going to look at a very special play called the Royale. This is extremely hard to do and can only be done in certain situations when the balls are in the right place. To execute a Royale, you must knock down all 4 colored pins, but not the black pin. It might take weeks or months to get a Royale. It's like a hole-in-one. Or you might get it really on a fluke. This is one setup that might get you a Royale. I'm going to put the yellow ball through the brown and red without touching the black. And I want my cue ball to bounce off the yellow and take out the green and yellow. Take 1. Wish me luck. That was close. Okay, shooting. That is a Royale. Instant win.